Welcome to the next in the Presca Lunchtime sessions. These are the webinars. I'm Rob Webben. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Presca Sportswear, the world's first climate positive sportswear company. And we're trading 15 minutes of your very precious time to hear from some brilliant people in our network. And today, I'm super happy to be able to introduce you. Most of you already know Charles, but for those watching back in future, introduce you to Charles Ross. A bit of a legend within sportswear circles and a brilliant sounding board / if you don't mind me calling you a mentor, Charles, for me over the years. I think you've always been super helpful for me. So enough from me. I'd love to hand over to you to tell yourself about about yourself and about what we're going to be talking about today as well.
Thank you. I feel quite honoured to be invited to take part in one of these webinars. Yeah, lots of people know me. I'm best known because, as I describe it, I teach people how to colour in. And in the world of Mickey Mouse degree courses, you can now do a postgraduate course in Performance Sportswear Design. So they are a lot better than I give them credit. And although we specialise in colouring in and making things look beautiful, there's a very strong technical side to the course. And yeah, I teach it. I pop up at a few universities, but I spend most of my time actually working on live projects within the industry. And as you can most probably tell, I pop up at various brands doing little bit. But if you're friendly to brands, they let you come in and use their Wi-Fi. So I'm in the middle of the Peak District at the moment, and I'll set myself up in the corner of the Outkit store.
That's amazing. But you have got such a strong connection, which is, people are still spilling in. That's just testament to that. And you're regularly talking at events or chairing events. And I think that you definitely have that skill of bringing people together and telling quite a complex story in a very simple way.
No, the skill is I can dumb things down so most of us can understand. My only ability is to make it simple, trying to pick up on the important bits of information.
Amazing. Okay, so what would you like to talk to us about today? I believe it's about longevity.
Yeah.
And your developing hypothesis on longevity.
Yes, to me, sustainability is longevity, but we always look at the flip side. So we look at the churn. The churn is the amount of garments we get through, how closely we flip between garments. And the problem that everyone quotes to you is about the durability of garments. And they are not, for my sake, precise enough on the durability of the garments, or rather the fibers. And we've looked at, I always used to say there were 3 types of durability, but reading Alec Leach's new book, The World is on Fire, but we're still buying shoes, I'm prepared to accept I got it wrong. And there's actually a 4th durability, which I hadn't identified as standalone enough. Now, when you talk to most people about durability, they think physical durability, but we've had 70 years of synthetic fibers and 50 years of them being really commercial. And fibers don't wear out any longer. I have teenage daughters, and my daughters buy pre-ripped and pre-faded jeans because they can't be bothered to have them for long enough to wear the holes in them to make them look cool. Now, if I apply that in an academic term to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that actually means we're at the top level, the self-actualization level. So when we don't have basic needs, now we're just tarting up and down what we want to wear. But physical durability is the big thing that everyone associates to the subject. But the second category is the fit durability. Now, I'm proper grumpy middle-aged. This is real grey hair. Things in my body have gone south. But it's easier for everyone to look at their nephews and nieces who grow out of their clothing before it wears out. And we call that fit durability. So we have physical durability, we have fit durability. And then the third type is what we've identified as emotional durability, which is a bit more complex to describe. It's how long do you love the item enough for to keep on wearing it? Or if you take the flip side, how long is it before the marketing of a different product tempts you away from what you already earn? For for what you adore and you've already put your money into it. So perhaps it's easier not to call it the emotional durability, but to look at the negative side. And the expression coined by Mark Shayler is that he called it emotional obsolescence.
Yeah.
So it's when we move away from wanting to have that garment. Now, I still have garments from the last millennium, and it winds up my wife an awful lot. I still have 2 pairs of socks that I wear on a regular basis, and I have been happily married for 23 years. He remembers. And I had these socks when I was a single person. So yes, okay, they were a bit worn. They're not quite holy, but the emotional durability is there. So I've held on to them. So we have physical durability, fit durability, emotional durability. But the fourth durability is cultural durability. And that was highlighted in Alex Leach's book, which is more when society changes to make your garment no longer fit. So you can put in there the world of fashion, how things change. Possibly the garment's too colorized and we can no longer wear that color. It's superb. I now talk and I say we have the physical durability, we have the fit durability, we have the emotional durability, and we also have the cultural durability. So there are 4 different things to play with. And because it's a complex thing in our own minds, we're always making excuses rather than actually we preoccupy ourselves with the actual durability rather than looking at the big question, which is why are we churning through so many garments? Why are we getting through it?
Are they the cultural and the emotional obsolescence side of things? Are they the same side of opposite sides of the same coin? I mean,
you ask a really intelligent question, and I've had lots of discussions, and I think Alex has identified. To me, cultural durability is when society changes, when the environment outside changes. Emotional durability is when it's your relationship to the garment changes.
But is it your relationship changing because you see, oh, these colors aren't cool anymore, or regarded as cool, and that feels like
they are closely connected. But I am now prepared to say that they're actually 2 different things. What will be really interesting is if enough people buy the book, The World is on Fire and We're Still Buying Shoes, whether you see there's enough distinction. But I'm not saying it's a hard, fast rule. As you know, I talk a lot about sustainable subjects, and the one thing we know is there is not a definite answer. We know what is bad,
always.
We know that what we have to move away from, and I'm not too hard and fast about this is the direction, because all I know is it's a journey, and as we're on that journey, in 2 years' time we're going to retweak this again. If it was a sat nav in the car, I know where the southwest is, but by the time I'm in Bristol, you've already moved 2 miles, across the other side of town.
I think it's really interesting. It's a brilliant. So I think it's a really nice way to think about it. Actually, the culture is shifting, and then so as a brand, what's our role to play in that? I mean, a lot of brand marketers are specifically there to kind of change the trends so that you keep on buying for the next season. You look at the flip side is someone like Patagonia, obviously, where they've got their stand-up shorts, which they started making 25 years ago, and they're still making them and still a very good seller.
And the snap tee fleece.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So I suppose our approach to clothing is to develop a kind of an evergreen wardrobe. So we're not, really looking at those trends on colors and those kind of things. But at the same time, you do have to fit into those trends, because if everyone else has moved, it doesn't matter where we still sit. What's your thoughts on that? How do we as a brand?
I also look at our aspect, our individual aspect, and apparel is a really easy way to make us have a bit of pride in our appearance. We're all a lot more vain than we want to admit.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't want to seem out of sync. Like on Monday, to bring it to relevance, I will be wearing something black. So there is a significance with what I am wearing and the places. So I do want to fit in, but clothing makes me feel good, makes me look better than I really am. So it's all relative, and it's how much importance do you place on it, which aspects of it.
Interesting point from Becky. She said cultural trends are different, or she thinks cultural trends are different to fashion trends.
Becky, Becky continues to inspire me, and it's having conversations with people like Becky that the bar goes up. I mean, those students of mine know that I am an average lecturer, but the harder the questions they ask me, the more I've got to research the answer. So that makes my bar go up. So it's an open subject, and I'm sure that we've not settled it yet.
I love it. It's so I find this all of our discussions, I find it super inspiring and interesting, Charles. So thank you for bringing this to the table. I'm interested in your 25-year-old pair of socks as well. I've got socks that are 25 days old and they're getting bloody holes in them. I don't know who's making socks now, but they fall apart all the time.
Darn Tough socks are really good. Mine are the prototype to Darn Tough. They're from Vermont, New Hampshire. But I also don't have perfectly shaped feet, so I like slightly thicker socks naturally, because then they cover my strange shaped foot, so I look almost normal.
I love that. Amazing. I'm definitely going to look at those. So that's been brilliant, and I know we only have a very short period of time to talk about this. Is there anything? I suppose just come back onto the brand point. So where, if your advice for us as a small but rapidly growing brand, how do we kind of step aside from this fashion movement and while still staying relevant? I know that's a huge question. And if
without sounding like an oxymoron, if we're going to save the world in impact terms, actually whether we buy one more garment or not is not going to do the balance. Where I see the responsibility of brands is that people aspire to brands, to associate themselves with brands, especially Gen Z, who are fixated on that short attention span, and what you're wearing also reflects your values. It's, to me, the responsibility of brands is to use that focus time to communicate further messages. And Rob, selling another one of your jerseys might not sound like you're doing good, but if you tell me the story about what the carbon impact is, and that makes me reconsider, hold on, why am I driving a petrol car? Should I go to an EV, or should I go to an e-bike? Or best of all, am I going to change my heating system? It's especially changing transport and our heating that will save the world. So don't feel too guilty about selling product, but please use that attention period to communicate values that we need to adopt in wider society.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Do you know that? Thank you. That makes me feel a bit better. We are trying to focus on kind of more positive impact through the workshop side of things as well, which I won't get into now. But that I've always thought that we're saying, look, through our jersey, let's say you save half a kilo of CO2, but actually half a kilo of CO2, you get in your car and drive 2 miles, and you've done that.
Well, we each have a footprint of about 15 tons of carbon a year. So half a kilo, you're thinking, why bother? But it's our moral responsibility to start, because how can we point the finger at the bad coal stations of China if we at least aren't trying to do something?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the clothing industry, we all know, is a bit of a car crash just in terms of global emissions. So it has to change for sure. But I do like that idea of actually the bigger impact we have is not through selling kind of a more sustainable jersey, but it's actually through that connection with our customers and changing maybe their way of thinking about their heating or transport. And yeah, that's great. I love that.
And the key thing with our customers is, I would suspect everyone on this webinar at the moment, they want to change, and if we can give them hints on how to do it most effectively, they will comply. None of us are bad people who want to destroy the planet. We all want to help out, and we feel a responsibility, but just a bit of information, just a bit of guidance makes it that bit easier.
Absolutely. Brilliant. Thank you, Charles. Well, we're already almost at time. which I suppose is just inevitable.
As usual, Charles talking too much.
No. It was really, really great. Thank you. But I will ask our 3 standard questions if you don't mind before we wrap up. So, Charles, what does community mean to you?
You see, I've listened to other webinars, so I've thought this out.
Not allowed to copy.
No, what community means to me, it's that part of society you take pride in. And a really easy demonstration to this is everyone now has this emotional reverence to the Queen and what's happening within this country. So it is society, but it's this community is that part we take the pride in.
Amazing. And why should we care about the climate, Charles?
Because climate crisis really is here. We've all heard of COP26. Very few people know COP27 is happening in 7 weeks' time. All the COP meetings progressed by one, and it's happening in Egypt at the start of November. And actually, a month after that, we have the more interesting one. Climate crisis is one side of the coin, and the lack of biodiversity is the other side. And they're only up to COP15 on that, and that's happening in Montreal during December. And I feel quite odd because COP26 was massive in this country, and we're ignoring COP27 and COP15 coming in. Why should we care? Because it's real and it's here. Just look at the weather.
Right, 100%. There's a run that's happening between Glasgow and Egypt, actually, carrying a baton with messages to COP27, with green runners are part of it. I'll send a link out to everyone after this. I'll put it on LinkedIn. You can sign up. You can run one of the legs. You can join one of the lead runners. So yeah, we'll be part of that for sure. Charles, last thing, what makes you feel positive?
Easy one, this. I have some of the best students in the world. I would claim the best students in the world. And they ask me harder questions each year. Either that or they don't accept the answers that I've given out in previous years, and they make me work harder. I have so much faith that although my generation has mucked up so much, the incoming generation, they're not there attributing blame. They want to sort the problem out, and they want to embrace it. And I am just bemused that some brands think that they know how to lead Gen Z. No, listen to Gen Z, get into Gen Z. They know what they want. Help them to it.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Best students need the best lecturers though, Charles. So good on you. Keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing. So thank you so much. So that's it. Unfortunately, we're kind of out of time. We've learned from you, Charles, that there is a 4th element of longevity. Super. I really enjoyed that conversation around that. That socks can last 25 years. Who knew? I'm getting straight onto darn tough socks for sure. I hope everyone listening and everyone who will listen in the future has found that really positive, really stimulating. Thank you, Charles, so much for your thoughts. It's been brilliant to hear from you. Next week, I'll be speaking to Claire Poole from Sport Positive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, another really hugely impactful woman, kind of dragging the global sport horse to drink at the sustainability watering hole. So that should be a fun conversation. Thank you everyone for joining today. Thank you, Charles. Enjoy your weekends, and if it's your thing, please do take time to tune into Her Majesty's funeral on Monday and pay your respects. And in general, Charles, keep up the incredible work you do.
Well, Rob, I think we might see each other. I'm down in Bristol for the Blue Earth Summit. They've asked me to do some speaking, and I know you're working in conjunction with them, so we will see what develops.
We'll catch up then. Amazing. Thank you, Charles, and thank you, everyone.
No worries. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.